Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Mr. Morrison here to make a quick update. So let's get to it so we can get to the weekend. So let's start with curriculum. Math. We just finished our first unit test. We have 8 units that we cover. Our first unit was prime, composite numbers, factors, products, multiplicative comparisons. And the students did a great job on the Unit 1 test. And I was really, really pleased with the results of that. So kudos to them. We are moving on to Unit 2, which we started yesterday, and that is line plots, and we're going to get into measurement. So if there's any chance at home, if you could, when you're working outside or doing any sort of, I don't know, interior design or crafting, if you could have your kids practice with you measuring, that would be fantastic. We are reading Island of the Blue Dolphin, and we are also reading about characters' actions and reactions in our benchmark book. Island of the Blue Dolphin, we're reading a chapter each day. Sometimes I'm reading it, sometimes it's a recording, sometimes the kids are reading it, and they're taking a comprehension quiz each day on that. And we'll be doing some little projects as we go along. Characters, actions, and reactions. We are reading Snow White and the Huntsman, as well as Peter Pan, and as well as Wizard of Oz, reading excerpts from those books. We're annotating, and we're trying to see what we can learn about characters, what is implied, and what is explicitly taught to us. Social studies, we're on California natives. We're learning about the California natives of the desert this week. Last week we did coastal natives. We'll be doing the natives of the mountains and the natives of the valleys over the next 2 weeks. That ties in well with Island of the Blue Dolphin. Writing, we're working on narratives. We wrote our first narrative. I found that a lot of the kids need a lot of extra practice right now on formatting a proper paragraph. So we're putting a lot of emphasis on that. I'm having them write a paragraph and then type it the next day. We did that twice this week. There needs some practice with indenting and kind of just some of the basics of grammar. And then next week, we're going to get back into narratives, and we're going to try to write a 3-paragraph essay with proper format and following story mountain with a clear beginning, middle, and end, because it seems like something we all need to work on from that first narrative, which I'll be sharing with you at conferences. Other things we're working on is comparatives, superlatives, compound sentences, roots and prefixes, and how to answer a question in a complete sentence, which is something that, again, I think this group all needs a little more practice on. Science with Mrs. Rad. Hopefully you came and got your little kit. They're still available in the office if you haven't picked them up yet, but she is working on motion and energy. So there's a quick catch up on curriculum. Our next curriculum exchange, our next drop off is going to be on Monday, 10/19/2020. That's a week from next Monday. I will have out there just, it'll be really easy this time. There'll be the same green bucket to deposit your manila envelope in. There'll be another bucket with the new manila envelopes. The new manila envelopes have the next 3 weeks worth in there. It is hole punched and stapled together by week 1, week 2, week 3, or A and B and C. The kids will just be taking the stuff out of their binder, putting it in the manila envelope they have. You'll drop it off in front of the office in the bucket. You'll get a new manila envelope, which then they will put in their binder. I have seen a 3,000% increase in organization since we moved to the binder organizational system. I still have some people who say they can't find things, but the time it takes to we'll turn to this page is definitely less than it was before. So it's definitely a huge improvement. So that's great. Schoology. Please make sure that you are checking Schoology before we have our conference. And I'll talk about conferences in a minute, but conferences are only going to be 20 minutes. They're going to be pretty quick. If you have never received your code for Schoology, what I'm guessing happened is a lot of the email that the district sends out often ends up in your spam folder, and it's not a problem. I've located everyone's codes for Schoology. If you do not have your code for Schoology, you need that to sign up. Just please send me an email. Hey, Mr. M, I need the code. I'll be happy to send it to you. Please remember there are no grades. I've had a few emails about, well, what does this mean? Is my kid getting an A, a B, or a C? The school district has moved away from using grades at the elementary level. They don't want it to be an issue of my kid got an A because they did all this extra credit, or their parents are helping them at home, or those kind of things. They want to make it more equitable. And so the idea is now that all students are going to master the Common Core standards, and that is what's most important, that every kid masters those standards, and then we move on. So we're looking at subject mastery. The scores in Schoology are important because they're telling you if your kid's being successful or not. However, I won't do the grades thing anymore. Last year was the first year we moved to this, and I had used a little bit of grades, but it kind of caused some issues. So this year, be looking at, are there any missing assignments? That's the big thing. Is my kid getting good scores on their assignments? That's the next big thing. And if your student is not getting good scores, well, then I am trying to figure out, well, what can I do to help reteach or use intervention to make sure that the kids have mastery of these different scores. All right. If you don't have your code, please email me. I'm happy to get it to you. All right. Zoom or Google Meet. So starting 10/19, so a week from Monday, we will be switching our class meetings to Zoom. I was anticipated trying to start this next week, but I realized that there's, after many meetings and lots of time trying to set this up, there's a little issue with the Chromebooks that there's an update being pushed out by the school district to the students' Chromebooks when they log in on Monday that'll update it. It'll make it so we don't have any issues getting onto Zoom. And I would hate it next week on Monday to switch to Zoom and then 5 kids can't get onto Zoom, because that really frustrating for you guys and for me too. So we're going to go with Google Meets next week for our class meeting, but the week after we'll be switching to Zoom. I am going to do all conferences via Zoom, because Zoom does not require you to log in with an @lvjusd.org email like Google Meets does. So to ensure that access is easy for everyone, if you're going to do the conference with me from home or in your car or wherever else, we will be using Zoom, and the link to that and the password is in this email. All right, moving on here. Conferences. So please sign up via the Sign Up Genius link. I'm going to add it to today's email that I'm sending. I also sent it earlier this week. If none of those times work for you, please send me an email with maybe some ideas, like at the end of those times, how I could add it on there. I will not do morning conferences. That just does not work for me, especially now that school starts at 8 o'clock. But I can do conferences extended out there as needed. So just let me know. We will be using Zoom to avoid login issues, because Zoom, you just click on the link no matter what sort of computer you're using, and you can dive right into it. Also in Zoom, what's nice is there is a waiting room. So if you have a 2:20 conference and you check in at 2:19, you might be waiting there for a minute or two while I finish up with the conference before you. Just please wait in the waiting room, and then I'll let you come in when it's your time. This is actually better than Google Meets, where you might show up and we might be in the middle of a conference, and that could be awkward. I will admit you to the meeting. 20 minutes will go very fast. And so I will, the plan is the first 5 minutes, I'm just going to say, hey, how's it going? What's working? What's not working? What can I help you with? What can I explain to you? So please beforehand be thinking about any questions you have about the day-to-day operations of the assignments, technical issues, computer stuff. I mean, anything that's coming up. What's working at home? What's not working at home? What frustrations are you having? And we'll try to cover that in the first 5 minutes. Then we'll look at a few assessments. I have some reading assessments for fluency and comprehension. And then I have a couple of math assessments, kind of give us a picture of where your child is at, and see if I can give you any suggestions about what they should be working on outside of the school time. Then we'll look at Schoology, and we'll see how their progress is going. We'll look and see how their scores are. Are they turning everything in? Is there any missing assignments? And then we'll take a look at their writing, just because I think it's nice to see, well, how's my kid doing in terms of writing? Because 4th grade writing can be pretty tough at the beginning, especially since they had a long lull in instruction. And so I think we've got to kind of work together to build up stamina in writing and get them ready to go for the writing throughout the rest of the year. It's going to be quick. I will end them at 20 minutes because I'll have the next conference, and I can't get behind. It's not professional, and I don't want anybody waiting or missing or anything like that. So if we do get to the end of the time, and I have to move on, I am always happy to meet with you again at any time, and that goes throughout the entire year. If you ever need just, hey, I need a 5-minute meeting just to check in, I am available for that at any time. I've been doing a lot of those this year. All right, I was trying to keep this to 5 minutes. Let's see how we did. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to meeting everybody via Zoom for our conferences next week. Thank you.